All right, what's up, everyone? I'm going to do a post-market wrap video. Someone asked me to do one, and we've got some significant changes in the market posture, so I think it's important to stay on top of it. Again, when markets sell off, they move a lot faster. So if we continue to get this, I'll probably continue to do more frequent videos. But again, I got to manage my time as well. So let's get right into it. Technical analysis of the stock market. Give me a thumbs up, guys. I got to see that. I got to get over 500. I'm really hoping that I can. I haven't checked the video I put out earlier today. And another person, people are asking me to do like private groups where I can do more frequent posts. And the thing is I just don't want to devote all my time to, managing a group like that. I put out my ideas and I give you the training and the skill set to find these ideas, and I put out videos pointing out the trade ideas. If I want to, if I decide in the future, you guys let me know if you're interested. Maybe I'll think about it if I get a lot of interest. But for right now, let's get into the triple Qs. So here's the thing. We pretty much closed below what I can find as any kind of support. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't continue to go lower. We didn't hit this level. I've got it, it's right here. You can see you had some resistance here, resistance right here, and support right here. So the level to watch, it's about 297.80 or so. We didn't hit that yet. So I would expect we're probably going to gap down right to it. So watch for that, but I suspect we gap right at it. Now, if we do gap right at it, we'll probably bounce right off of that. We'll probably get a bounce off that level. So something to watch for. If you're still short, I'm still short triple Qs, then that might be an area to cover, or depending on what you're kind of trading for. If you're looking for a longer term swing short, and I am actually looking for more downside, then I think you can ride these things out. But again, when you're at support, you're likely to get a bounce. So just something to take note of. But I do think we're heading much lower. The other thing to note, the kind of pay attention to, volatility. Let's look at the VIX. Volatility, I'm not seeing that spike in volatility. I don't see enough volatility to tell me that this selling is over. So usually you want to see a big spike in volatility telling you, okay, institutions and everybody's starting to scramble for put protection. That's what a spike in volatility is telling you, that everybody's buying put protection basically. I don't see that yet. So as far as I can tell, we still have a pretty unprotected market, telling me that we've got more downside. All right, that's what I'm reading about that. So these volatility instruments like VXX, UVXY, I mean, look at this. That's not a spike, all right? So I'm still thinking that volatility can get all the way up to 2780 or, 3185 in this VXX. UVXY, I've got these levels already marked out, 2348 and 2918. Okay, so that's volatility. Again, everything looks good for more upside in volatility and more downside in the markets. The SPY's starting to sell off a little bit too. We're now starting to see the SPY break. Qs was the first to break. SPY didn't, pay attention, but now we've got 3 down days in the SPY. Some good strong selling in the SPY. So, I think we're heading down again to about 361 in the short term. Probably get a bounce there. But I'm looking for some more downside here. And, we might have just seen the top of the market. Again, no, you don't know until later, in hindsight, that you can go back and say that's the top. But when you start to show signs that things are going to reverse and we're way overextended and we're at major resistance in the bull market trend of the last decade, going to my weekly chart, my blue line is my trend line. And you got support. You held support here, 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 and here. When you broke that support, you hit resistance, resistance, resistance. This could be the top of the market. All right, let's look at IWM. IWM, we've got sell signal in the small caps Here's the daily. Here's your trend line right there, and we broke. So there's probably going to be more. This will probably be the better way to play it moving forward, because Qs was kind of the first to run, and Qs have sold off pretty good. This is just now starting to break the small cap, so I think it's likely you're going to see probably some more downside in IWM than you would in triple Qs. So just something to take note of. First line of support right there at 205.43, and then the next level of support right down there around 193. All right, so watch that. TLT, that's a pretty nasty close for TLT. Post-market looks like it's selling off more. Interest rates are spiking, so that is not good for risk assets. Let's just put it that way. Higher rates, bad for markets, so just keep that in mind. We closed today at the highest close that it's had basically since COVID stopped or started, and we're trending higher, so keep an eye on that. But again, the markets are freaking out about this, so if this continues, if you continue to see TNX moving higher, markets will continue to freak out. All right, gold, not the best close for gold, and yeah, so gold might have some more downside. So 1570 is your next level of support for gold. Yeah, we could run down and hit that and maybe bounce off of that. As of right now, still looks like more downside in gold because of the close today. And also, you can see here on the RSI, I got rid of it, but we took out that potential bullish divergence. Negative momentum it now exists on gold, and negative price action. So continuing the downtrend in gold. Now that's gold bullion. That's not necessarily the miners. Here's GDX. You can see we closed pretty much flat today. So it really wasn't that negative of a day for the miners. They kind of hung in there. Sometimes the miners will front run gold. They'll sell off first and then start to recover first. So we could see gold bullion maybe sell off a little bit more and the miners kind of hang in there. I don't know. Something to watch. GDX pretty much closed at support, 31.33, and I've got it circled. So a break from that level to the downside would be bearish, and a recovery would be bullish. We're at major support. This is going back all the way back to 2013. Held as resistance all through here, and then recently broke, held as support. So I could see a flush out move. Let's look for that. That might be, maybe you have a nice kind of spike down and then a recovery. Okay, some of these short positions, I did cover these today. Gaming for a bounce, doesn't mean that there's not more downside, but we closed, some of these hit their some support levels. So, when you run into major support, it's a good idea sometimes to cover. That's what, I'm an active trader. But, so here's the trade desk TTD. This thing just completely plunged, hit the 200-day moving average, filled the gap right here, hit the 200 and kind of bounced. Still closing below that gap though. So a pretty weak close. I suspect it's going to kind of battle with this 200-day for a little bit. So, I'll watch this one. From the entry right here down was about a 21% drop. That's a pretty good little drop there. And, if there's a bounce, look at 735 to be resistance. And then I would probably look for some more downside. I think there's some more downside. Next level of support, 520.64. Tesla. All right. So this one, I did cover this one as well, but I think there's probably some more downside. What I'll be looking for now to add back my short position is just a break below today's lows, basically about 600. If it wants to break and get an impulsive breakdown from there, I did adjust my trend line. I think I had it looking something like this, or maybe something like that. I did kind of tweak it, but the thing is, I'm still looking for a break at today's lows. Below 600, and we're heading down to what I see as the next level of support. Yeah, it's down there a ways. I just don't know if we're going to break right here. But ultimately, I think Tesla, if we start to continue to downtrend in the general markets, I think Tesla's heading down to this 225 area. NEO hit a support level here at 39.81. I'm still short this one. What I'm looking for is, and once we enter this area, pretty much below today's lows, we should head straight down to this 22 area. We'll likely bounce off the 200-day moving average, which right now is sitting about $30. But once we're in this trading range, we should head down to this 22 area. A break below that, then we are going to most likely come down and fill these gaps all the way down at 932 and 792. Draftkings. So Draftkings has a bull trap or false breakout. This high was also a divergent high. So once it broke down, I think it's, we got a daily close below that support level. So that sets the trap. This thing I think is headed straight down to this trend line down here at about $44. The 200 days kind of in that area. So I believe Draftkings is headed straight down to that area. We'll watch that. Everything looks good. Negative divergence right there on the RSI and the PPO. So in general, this one looks like it's going lower. Peloton, I closed this one today. I covered this position. And you can see what it did. It fell straight down to my trend line, undercut it just a little bit, but my trend line support was right there at 98.66. And that's pretty much where the buyer stepped in. The 200-day moving average was right in this area as well. So covered it. That's a good spot to cover. I think we probably get a little bounce here, or we could just kind of chop sideways and then roll over more. This one's got some more downside, I do believe. I just figure there's probably going to be a better entry, a better spot to re-enter. This one, though, from the time I called out the trade, which is right here, has fallen a total of almost 40%. So that's pretty good. Etsy, I think there's still more downside in this one. This one's it's a little stronger than some of these other ones, but it's got a ways to fall, I do believe. And it just closed right at support. So you can see this trend, this support at 197.20. We hit that before, bounced off of it, came down, and that's where we closed. I think it's very likely we gap below this. Probably tomorrow, actually. The after hours, it's sitting at 193.40, so we could gap starting tomorrow. But Etsy, I believe, is heading down. Next level of support right here, 167.46. So we'll watch that. I think there's more downside there. PayPal. All right, so here's a new trade idea. We got a sell signal on this one. Here's PayPal coming off the March 2020 lows. Held support all through here. And we got a nice clean sell signal breakdown just today. So I took a short there. I pointed it out. Got the daily close below. This one's going lower. Final target for this, I think it's very possible we come down and fill this gap all the way down here at 130.49. And that would be a drop from where we're at now, 45%. So that's kind of going to be my target on this one. I'm going to watch that one. But I just took a short position in this, looking good for more downside. All right, TAN. So these are the solar stocks, and these are some of the mania stocks. So this is just a solar stock ETF. This one's got a ways to go. So it's just, continuing to break. You can see we broke, back test, break. What can I say? It's just going lower is what I see in the chart. So positioned well for that. Got short right there on the entry. And we are continuing to the downside. Okay, and I guess I'll wrap here with AMD. Just another potential trade idea. I took a short on this one today. So, a lot of the tech stocks are starting to break, but not all of them have, and some of them are just starting to break. So AMD, here's what I got. Coming off the 2016, this thing started an uptrend back in 2016, multi-year uptrend, and you can see As I zoom in on this daily chart, we held support here, held support there, held support there, held support there, and there. And look what you got going on right now. So again, it's a little too close to call, but I'm with the market in the position that it's in, I think this one thing breaks. So I took a short on this because it is starting to break this trend line. I mean, my trend line could be off slightly, but looks good. And the 200-day moving average actually is right here as well, sitting right there today. The 200-day moving average is at 78.20, and we actually closed below the 200-day moving average. So that's kind of a bearish close on a break of this trend line. We got some support right here at 73.56. So I think it's likely you get the first tag of that, we're probably going to get a little bit of a bounce. But ultimately, the zone I'm looking for on this is, see this thin zone right here? If I zoom out, there was no trading that really took place all the way from 58.97 up to about 74. There was just gaps. It just gapped higher, basically. You can see it just gapped and ran, pulled back a little, gapped up. So very thin zone. I think we're heading to the bottom of that thin zone right down here at 58.91. So again, we broke the trend. We're closed below the 200-day. Look at the RSI, big negative divergence. See it right there, just dropping off. To me, this looks like a good trade straight down to the bottom of the thin zone, which is right there. 25%, 24.5% drop. That's the highest probability area of this trade I can see, is just to move down to there. There's, if the rest of the market's going to sell off more, I've marked out a couple other levels down here, 33.77, and there's also one all the way down here at 16. 16 would be a full-on bear market in the S&P 500. That's low probability, but high. I think it's a very good probability that we get to this 58. 50. It's really about 59. So I like that one. That's all I got, everyone. I will. Someone asked me to do gold and silver. Silver is selling off. All right, the commodities. I'm seeing an unwinding a little bit of the commodities trade. So copper's breaking. Let me go to that. We can look at that real quick. Here's copper. You can see impulsive breakdown in copper. My trend line is slightly off. I don't know what's going on there. Copper's breaking, and silver's breaking down a little bit too. You can see here, my gold miners are here. Where's my silver? Silver's breaking down as well. So that's because of the industrial application of silver. Gold doesn't look quite as bad. The base metal doesn't look great, but if you look at the actual gold miners, a lot of those gold miners actually held up pretty nice today. You can see Anglo Gold Ashanti up 3.5%. Here's Yamana was up. These gold miners are kind of hanging in there, so something to watch. I pointed out that this is the potential buy area. I like this area for buying the miners. And I have been buying miners, so I'll keep an eye on these to see if things change. And that's all I got, guys. So again, leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you guys are finding value in the content, and I'll catch you guys.